Right, welcome back. Now, in this part of the show, we give you a view of what's happening across the continent. We zoom in on the leading headlines in Africa. Now, today, Nigeria is set to commemorate the 2021 Democracy Day, which is commemorated every year on the 12th of June. Members of civil society, as well as activists, though, have expressed concerns over political oppression, depleted democracy and ethnic intolerance, as well as bans on protest. This is after the NSAS protests. There were growing fears that the Twitter ban is the latest crackdown on the youth. Now, President Buhari is set to address the nation this morning at 8 a.m. to discuss all of this. We are joined by doctoral researcher and academic at Wits University, Oluwaseun Damilola Ajay. Thank you so much for coming on to the show, and I hope I didn't butcher your name too bad there. Such a pleasure to have you on this day. Now, of course, it's 22 years of democracy, essentially, that's marked today, but just let's take stock. How much does Nigeria in particular have to celebrate?
Thank you once again for having me. Good morning to everyone watching from all over the world. Today, it's expected for us to celebrate 22 years, as you had earlier mentioned. But the event in recent times has left a very bad taste in our mouths as Nigerian people. Both home and abroad, we wake up to very bad news every day, from banditry to kidnapping to unwarranted killings around different regions of the country. We should be celebrating today. The youth, young people should throng the streets and, bring out the drums, dance to the benefit of democracy in Nigeria. But today we live in fear, absolute fear. The truth must be told. There are problems every day. We wake up to one bad news or the other. So there's absolutely nothing to celebrate in the Nigeria of today.
Now, I mean, you mentioned the fact that, there's so many things plaguing the country at the moment. You speak about kidnappings. More than 700 children have been kidnapped just since December alone. Some of the bad news that you speak of also is the likes of attacks on villages, which happened just on Thursday, killing over 90 people. The president is set to address the nation today. What kind of a message would he be looking to get across on a day like this, with so many atrocities still happening across the country?
Unfortunately, I don't expect anything good from the president. I'm sorry to say that, but that's the truth. And I'm saying this on the basis of, history. Whenever there's so much huge expectations on the president, who should make very, guarded speeches as a father of the nation. Just recently, he had an exclusive interview with a TV channel in Nigeria. So much was expected from the president, but as usual, the president is known to make very derogatory statements that are capable of burning down the nation. And the Twitter ban was reflective of what happened, the style of the president. In times like this, we had always castigated the political Rottweilers around the president. But whenever the president comes up, we expect so much from him. As the father of the nation, we expect him to make speeches, statements, sentences that will pull us together, bring us all together. But unfortunately, the president never does that. So I'm not expecting anything better this time.
Now, you make mention of the Twitter ban that that Twitter has now instigated in Nigeria, or that he rather has instigated in Nigeria after they pulled down his tweet. I mean, that tweet essentially is what you are speaking to, where the president isn't really pulling the country together. How much of that, or how do you think that will affect the country? Of course, not the majority of the population in Nigeria on Twitter, but a very vocal part of the population and an important voice find themselves on Twitter as well. So how important is this ban for it at least to be lifted as well? And what do you think it would mean for the country going forward?
Yeah, thank you so much for that. So it's in two ways. The Twitter ban, first and foremost, showed the world that the federal government of Nigeria are saying to the world that they are above the law. And second, the Twitter ban reflects that the government don't care about what the young people enjoy despite the hardship they put them through. The Twitter ban reflects that the federal government tore the fabric that pulls Nigerians from all walks of life together. On the street of Twitter, you see, laughter. Many people go there to laugh off the stress, the very exhilarating and excruciating issues that bedevil us back home. But this Twitter ban, it leaves a very bad taste in the mouth, like I said earlier. If government is serious, I want to encourage government and plead for them to lift the ban. It will speak volume. It will show that, of course, they value democratic tenets and standards and align themselves with democratic tendencies of the world.
Now, of course, there's a growing intolerance that's taking place across Nigeria. And, part of what the president tweeted shows that intolerance. There are widespread marches that have been planned for today, but there's a ban on marches. And, this kind of just goes back to the NSARS days. And you kind of think to yourself, are we going to see a repeat of that?
Okay, so I was watching an IG live session this morning from someone who was more like an influencer, telling his followers and everyone that cared to listen that nobody should go out. And that's reflective of, also historical events. For instance, as you've made reference to the NSAS events. Protests as this don't come out well, and government has made it clear. If anyone is found wanting, they will be treated in a language that they understand. And that's very laughable. We live in a democratic country, in quotes, as I would believe. And expression of rights as protest, freedom to speak against, what you're not comfortable with, should be our mainstay. But unfortunately, it's so bad. On the streets of Lagos and in different states, we've seen armed policemen, armed soldiers. I would have much appreciated if government had also put the same energy towards defeating the bandits, the terrorists, the Boko Haram, and defeating poverty, defeating the very debilitating challenges that we all go through as Nigerians. It's so sad, it's terrible. So as I speak with you, I will also advise people not to go out. Of course, it's okay to protest, but from historical events, I will not advise anyone to go out, except you want to lose your life.
Sure. Now, of course, the security situation in Nigeria, especially in the central as well as the northwest regions, stays very, very tense. Let's quickly talk about what Nigerians would be looking for on a day like this. And one person that comes to mind is Chief MKO Abiola, the father of democracy in Nigeria. His legacy is something that Nigerians will be looking to recall today. Will that even help them? Will it be something that indeed they might want to lean on in such difficult times?
Yeah, that time was reckoned as one of our best moments ever. Unfortunately, the sad events that happened that time, has really affected quite a lot of things right now. Look, Nigerians don't expect government to give them skyscrapers. We don't want jets. We don't want anything that the developed markets or economies are building today. We want very basic stuff. We're only asking for basic infrastructure. Let us have very good schools. Let us have research infrastructure. Let us have funding. Let us have, an enabling environment for startups, for young people, Imagine first-class students leaving the university and, no jobs. They're having to resort to menial jobs and all of that. The June 12th today should always remind us, should always remind government, any government that is serious, that the sacrifice of that day, should push us to do better. But we're still wallowing in very, very dark times, and I'm not sure this is going to be over anytime soon. And that's the absolute truth.
All right, so let's leave with the doctoral research and academics adverts. University, that's Oluwaseun Damilola Ajayi. And, of course, the situation in Nigeria is set to be seen how it plays out today as they celebrate Democratic Day 2021. Wide ban on protests, but it seems like Nigerians are defiantly looking to take to the streets today. The president speaking at 8 a.m. as well. So we'll keep an eye on that as that story develops.